I am terrified of making this video. I'm terrified of making any video where my face is on it and I'm talking to a camera, but I'm here. And if you're like me, there's probably things that you feel terrified about doing. So I want to share 4 ways that I work through fear or anxiety so that I can do the things that I actually want to do, like starting a YouTube channel. So the first thing that I do is I name the fear. Fear can just be this general, overwhelming feeling. So the first thing that I do is just to name it. I'm afraid of what people think about me. I'm afraid of being made fun of, which is really just a fear of being embarrassed, kind of looking like an idiot.
I love you, you idiot!
Which is just a fear of having my feelings hurt. And that's actually really freeing. That's not the end of the world or anything like that. The tool I use to process this is just journaling. I really like to write out word for word what's going on inside of me. It helps me to just slow down and to process. It really puts constraints on these feelings and saying like, this is actually just a small part of my life. And it enables me to actually figure out ways to move forward. Last year we had a hurricane come through. I live in Florida. There's so many thoughts going through my brain at that point of the tree's gonna fall on the house, our windows are old, all these horrible things are gonna happen. That overwhelmed me. I basically spent a day just being completely overwhelmed and unable to move or to focus. But I'm gonna name the things I'm afraid of: the tree falling on my house, my windows blowing out, being without power for a week. And then I was able to get to work on those very specific things. And it was awesome to just suddenly be free and be able to work on the very small tasks that were specific to what I was really anxious about. The hurricane didn't hit us directly. We got a good storm though. My neighbor's tree actually fell down and we lost power for 4 days, I think. I was super thankful to actually have a generator and be able to have a refrigerator and just a couple things plugged into it. That was incredibly rewarding and freeing amidst a really scary situation. The next thing that really helps me is actually to visualize if things go well. And that's really hard for me. I'm the kind of person that operates under preparing for the worst and what are all the bad things that could happen. Kind of just staying in that place and not really thinking about what if this goes really well, and sort of dwelling in that space. Life isn't all just bad things. Bad things happen, but sometimes good things happen. And you can kind of expect that sometimes bad things will happen and then sometimes things will work out and things will go well. And you can kind of live in that in between where both are true. When it comes to creating or doing something actively that you're afraid of, I've found success in just starting small and then repeat. So making this first very simple YouTube video where I just have to practice talking to the camera. I've done a little bit of rock climbing. I'm not super into it, but my father-in-law is a phenomenal rock climber. There's a saying that when you climb inside the gym a lot and you go outside for the first time, it can be very nerve-wracking because you're going really high up and you're outside. It's a totally different environment. So one of the things they say is to just take a whip, which essentially means to fall on purpose when you're up and the rope is underneath you, and then you just want to purposely let go and take a big 20-foot fall with the rope catching you, of course. If you're afraid of falling, you kind of just need to do it on purpose, on your own terms where you're safe and you're controlled and everybody's ready for it, so that you can kind of just get used to the idea of falling and then trusting all of the safety equipment that you are hooked up to. And I thought that was a great analogy where just taking a little baby step like that, doing it on your own terms, can evaporate the fear like that. And if it doesn't, well, then you just do it again and you repeat. So start small and repeat. The last thing I would suggest is to ask for help. That can be really difficult, especially if you're like me and you're not really used to that. You kind of are insecure maybe a little bit about what people are going to think about you or being judged or anything like that. But I have found it is so freeing and fulfilling and really connecting to other people when you just ask for a little bit of help. That can only happen when you've kind of named the things, you've kind of come out of that paralyzed state and started working through the specifics of what you're afraid of, and then you can communicate what you actually need help with. Robert Kiyosaki, who's the author of Rich Dad Poor Dad, he says, "Don't let the fear of losing be greater than the excitement of winning." I feel like that's where I'm at. I don't want to look back with regret and just be like, man, I wish I had done that YouTube channel all those years ago. In fact, anytime I do something that I'm afraid of and I actually dive in and I realize this isn't that scary, I always wish I had started sooner. I wish I had asked for help sooner. I wish I had dived into this YouTube channel sooner. So if that's you, if you made it this far in the video, thank you for watching. And I think just know that you can do it. You can name the fear, you can work through it, and then you can get started. And if you need to ask for help, do that. So maybe leave a comment about something that you're struggling with, afraid of, and see what kind of help comes your way. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.